Welcome to TuneSpec. I'm Frank, and today is going to be another one of our first drive reviews. But this is going to be a little bit different, a little bit more in depth. Normally, when we do a review, we have about 3.5 hours with the car. Not enough time to get to know everything about the car. But this is different because my car's in a body shop, and I figured whatever I get as a rental, I might as well review it. Every rental car I've had recently has always been 2 or 3 years old at most. So that's kind of how this is. This one is only 3 years old. So it's a good car to review. It's a good car to take my time and learn everything about. And to me, 5, 6, 7 days of driving, that's the perfect test drive. That's really how you get to know whether a car is right for you. So come along, let's get started, and let's check this out. So here it is. Today we have a 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. So this is my rental car. I have this for 2 or 3 weeks. So I figured we'd take the time and really give a thorough review of this car. So a little information about this Jeep. Under the hood we have a 3.6 liter V6. It's 293 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy, which is a concern of mine because I have a long commute to work. It's getting about 18 miles in the city, and it says 25 on highway, so combined about 21-ish, which is not really that great for me. I'm doing my best to make it last a little bit longer. Of course, you have Jeep's all-wheel drive. You can go just about anywhere you need to go. Obviously, I'm just driving on the highway, so I don't really need that. It's beautiful out, so we have no snow. We had a little bit rainy the other day, and it worked just fine. So far, I'm real happy with the vehicle. It does what you expect out of a modern SUV. All right, so let's check out this Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. Well, styling-wise, it's a Jeep, and it is what you would expect, and it's pretty standard for the segment. I mean, they all pretty much have the same body style, but I think this is really pretty, especially in this color. And again, it's a rental. I didn't get to pick this, but if I was going to buy one, I definitely would look at this color. I think it's really, really pops. I like the style. I always have, you know, these have always been really attractive vehicles as far as SUVs go. And I always liked the Grand Cherokee. I've driven one once. My family had a maybe 96, I want to say, maybe a little bit newer than that, and it was nice. I liked it then. Now that one was a V8. This, of course, we have the V6, but back then I was young, gas prices were cheap, and I didn't worry too much about that stuff. Now, more priorities. But styling wise, I mean, you look at the grille, it's classic Jeep, you know what's coming, and I just think it looks good. I like the chrome accents on it, and I do like the color. I think the wheels look great. For a rental car, I'm pleased with this one. It could have been a lot worse, right? One of the features I wanted to show you on the inside of this vehicle is the intuitive touchscreen. So let's just start it up. And what I mean by intuitive, we're going to lower this for now, is I don't read owner's manuals, and I really should, especially if you try to do things like this. So basically, while I'm driving, I just started playing with buttons and figuring out what things were. So I think this worked really well. I was always a little worried about driving and using a touchscreen. I felt like it was going to be a little cumbersome. It really wasn't. and everything's pretty much spelled out for you. You have your media here, so if you click on that, you can go AM, FM. It does have Android and Apple Auto CarPlay, which I found was a nice feature, especially if you like to use your GPS on your phone. Climate control, right now it's not on. We're going to put it on because it is a little hot in here. So you can just really swipe down here for the temperature you want. You can use these little buttons here to change your fan speed, but they do give you an actual dial. So this is kind of nice, and it does give you a real on and off switch, and you can do your temperatures with this too. So you have both. You still have your AC button and all that. You could do it with real dials if you choose to do that, or you can use the touchscreen. Touchscreen's been fine for me. If you're somebody who wants the heated seats, you can have heated seats. You can have a heated steering wheel, which is really nice if it's cold out. It's probably close to 60 degrees today, so we definitely don't need any of that. But it's there if we need it. You have the onboard navigation system. I haven't really played with this too much because, like I said, with Apple CarPlay, it's so much easier just to use the one in my phone. Apps, that looks like it would get a little confusing if you choose to use the apps here, but I haven't had really the need to use it yet. This is something that you probably would want to read your owner's manual with. Phone, if you plugged in your phone, which I didn't do that yet, or if you connect it Bluetooth wise, that's what you would be looking at there. Settings, there's a ton of settings here, and this is the seat controls again, and this is simply for your passenger side if they want to use their heated seat. Still don't need that heated seat on. So that's basically everything that I've been dealing with as I'm driving. It's really simple to use. So if you get a little bit further down on the controls here, you'll see you have all your buttons here. I can still do all my volume and everything like that. I can literally just shut the screen off if that's what I want. I can still tune here. It still works real well. All my defrost features and everything like that. Down here we got some extra buttons. You got traction control off, sport mode, eco off. And this here is for the automatic shut off when you stop in traffic. It shuts down to save fuel. This is your lane departure assist, which is kind of strong in this vehicle. It really kind of pushes the wheel if you start to go over the line a little bit more than other vehicles that I've driven. And these are your parking sensors here. I don't see why you would want to turn them off, but you can. So that's really what we have in the center cluster here. And then if we go even further down and look down here, so we have our shifter here, which is pretty normal. So if I can bring this camera in a little bit here, and this is all pretty normal. Reverse, neutral, drive, and you have, this is your manual shift mode. Down is up shift, forward is down shift. That's pretty standard. We do have full-time all-wheel drive, but because it's a Jeep, they're going to give you more options. So if you look down on this little knob here, so you have your four-wheel drive modes. So we can go into four-wheel low, hill assist. There's other options here which are not included on this vehicle. I've just seen them online. This is auto mode, which is what we're in right now. If you're going to go on sand, snow, you have those options there. Mud, and in rock mode here, which tells you to shift into four-wheel drive low. And to do that, you do have to go into neutral. So when you go into neutral, you're going to be turning down to this here, down the bottom, but we're not going to neutral right now because we're not going to go into rock mode. I'm not going to put this vehicle through that, and I'm kind of worried to damage it myself. But so that's how the shifter situation works here. That's always been Jeep's strong point, to give you a lot of options as far as drive modes go and give you that real off-road capability. If we're looking at the dashboard here, there's a lot of different screens that you can configure. I'm kind of enjoying this one here because I'm concerned about fuel economy. But if you're not worried about that, we have some other modes. Again, this is another fuel economy one. And this will be for your radio. You can change your stations using this. It tells you what station you're on. If there's any error messages, when I first got this car, I had a low battery in the key fob problem, and that message would show up in here. So we have a screen here where it says we can set up the screen. So I click on that. So in my upper left, I can have, I can change what I want to see up there. So let's see, I can have nothing up there. We got our trip meters. I can get my current fuel economy, which I'm not moving, so we're not doing anything. If you want to know your trip range, how much range you have in your tank, ooh, 90 miles, I better go hit the gas station soon. But you can change all those things in this screen here. I see no reason to change it from where it is, so I'm just kind of leave it for now. And then you can just click back. This is usually where I keep most of my cars. I just like to see the digital speedometer. There is this display, which is kind of cool, but I'm so used to having a digital that I just don't find the need for a traditional analog, unless of course that's all you have. Digital is just so much easier, quick glance. Tire pressure gives you your tire pressure on all 4 tires, and you can scroll through. It's going to give you all your pertinent information: battery voltage, oil life, oil pressure, oil temperature, a lot of things, trans temperature, a lot of things that we're not really going to even concern ourselves with as a daily driver, but they're there in case you want to see what your car is doing. This shows you your driver assist. So right now we're not moving, so nothing's really working. But if we were on road and we were going over the line, you know, or something like that, getting close to the line, you're probably going to get a warning through that. And this is again back to the screen that I like to keep it at. That's really the dashboard situation for this car. So for the steering wheel, yeah, it's again very intuitive. It doesn't take a lot. I didn't read the book. Cruise control's all over here. Set my cruise control. Speed up, slow down, cancel it, reset. This one actually turns it on and off. And all of that stuff is relayed to you in the dashboard as you go through the modes. And on this side, I can cycle through my screens as if like I just did, and that's how I got to all my different modes on the screen. It's pretty easy. The weird thing was, this is probably the first car I've driven in a long time where there's only one stalk. And I kept reaching over here looking for turn signals or something like that, and there's nothing here. So everything is contained on this one side right here. You get wipers, rear wipers, high beams, turn signals, everything's just one stalk. It takes about a hot second to kind of figure it out, but it's all right there for you. And I just wanted you guys to see how good this backup camera looks. I think that's pretty good. I was impressed. The first thing I can say is that it rides real comfortable. It's nice. It's a soft ride. It's not sporty at all, but when I've gotten on and off ramps at a decent speed, it actually doesn't give you a lot of body roll. I'm really surprised in this vehicle. It's put together well. Jeeps usually are, and they have a great reputation for being really competent off-road vehicles, and I'm hoping to get a little bit of off-road time, but since I haven't done that kind of stuff in such a long time, I don't know where to go. So right now I'm going to drive through some of my favorite roads, cutting through Valley Forge National Park, and just kind of get a feel for the way this car handles on some of those roads. There's a lot of undulation, a lot of curves. It's not really high speed, but I feel like it's a good place to assess how a car is going to be on the highway. You know, any car can go straight and fast. I mean, even a slow car can go straight and fast. I mean, speed limits around here at best are 70. So we're not even going to get close to that today. What I will say is this. I've really been nervous about the fuel economy, and I wasn't sure how it was going. And basically all weekend long, I've had around a quarter of a tank of fuel as far as the needle shows. But it's gone from about 200 miles of range to right now reading about 80 miles of range. So I don't really know what that means. I don't know how accurate all those calculations are. And I'm trying to be conservative about it, but sometimes you got to put your foot in it, right? I've been leery to accelerate too hard in this vehicle just because I don't like to put fuel in somebody else's car. You know, it's one thing to do a review and you burn some fuel and you top off their tank for them. I think that's a nice thing. But to have a vehicle for a couple of weeks that is just not going to get the fuel economy you're used to, that annoys me. I'm sorry, that's just how I've gotten in my old age. If Mike were here, he would second that. I find the acceleration smooth. It doesn't feel quick, and it really isn't. I think I saw 0 to 60 is around 8.1 seconds. But it's a 4,700 pound car, I believe. And with a V6 in it, I mean, I think those are pretty decent numbers. But even though I said it's not quick, it still feels fast. And what I mean by that is, you give it some fuel, you get moving, and before you know it, you're at the legal limit. So it gets there in a decent enough pace. I don't think for a vehicle this size it really needs to be any quicker. Now, I've driven plenty of SUVs that are quite a bit quicker than this, and sometimes they just seem a little ridiculous, but fun. This, I don't think, is really that fun to drive vehicle. This is that, you know, you need something, you have a family, occasionally you have to deal with snow and bad weather. Yeah, this is it. Absolutely, this is a very comfortable car. These curves I'm on now, you know, there's no body lean. These are the same aggressive roads that I drive on in every car that we review out this way, and they can be a lot of fun. And in this car, I'm not going slow, but I'm not feeling uncomfortable in it. A lot of times when you get an SUV or even a big sedan and you pitch it into a corner, you feel that body roll and you feel the tires, they want to squeal. And I haven't gotten that yet in this, and I've driven it for 7 days, and as much as I like to say I'm trying to be conservative with fuel, yeah, I've gotten on it, absolutely. Why wouldn't I? I drive it like I drive my car. There's times when you have to put your foot in it. Just how things are. I'm hoping to get to a couple of better roads and maybe get on the throttle a little more and get a good feel for, you know, how it's going to be on those real aggressive spots. There's spots where you can get yourself in trouble if you're going a little too fast. And a vehicle like this with a higher center of gravity, you got to be more cautious. But so far, I'm enjoying driving this car. My wife keeps asking me if I like it, would I want it. She likes a lot of the tech features on it. She thinks it's got some neat little bells and whistles. But I don't want a car just for that. I want the driving experience. And although this is a good SUV, and I think it does a lot of things well, I don't think it gives me a really exciting driving experience. It makes some decent noises when you get into the throttle. I don't know if they're piped in, because it is a V6. The exhaust doesn't sound very loud to me. See right there, that's where you can get yourself airborne if you're not paying attention. We were doing 45 miles an hour. This SUV felt very competent there. I didn't feel like I was going to lose control. It was nice. It really compensates for problems in the road. It's a soft ride, yeah, but it's nice. I am pleased with this vehicle. Really wasn't what I expected as a rental car. I've had some, I don't want to say bad rental cars, but economy cars. You know, I said it, nothing wrong with them, but you know, they're not exciting. This could be exciting if you want it to be. Yeah, so I like the car. You know, I do. If I was in the market for an SUV, I would certainly consider this. I don't see why I wouldn't, but I really don't want one, to be honest. It's nothing against this, because this really is a good car. Like I said, doing the walk around, the Jeep Grand Cherokee has always been a nice SUV. I always liked it. My folks had one in the 90s, and theirs was nice. First time I ever went looking for an SUV, it was on the top of my list. I couldn't afford it. I think this one's stickered at 41. I don't know how it is optioned out, but it's much more affordable at this point in my life, and it's really comfortable. And I guess if I decided to buy an SUV, I'm going to look at this, and I'll probably look at this before more expensive ones, just for the fact that they're more expensive. I don't know what cost of maintenance is on this. That's always been an issue. Not with Jeeps, just me in general. I don't like to spend a lot of money on upkeep. I try to do as much as I can on my own. So here's kind of a nasty bump. Yeah, you feel it, but it's not jarring. In my Audi, that same bump I would avoid like the plague, because it would feel like the whole chassis was going to snap in half. This car, you can hit it, and it felt fine. It didn't feel like it was going to disrupt anything. Even if the roads were bad, I don't think it would make you feel like you were going to have an accident. Alright, so we're going to look for the entrance to the highway and see what the highway noise is like on this car. Sounds good when you accelerate it. I don't know, again, if that's pumped through or if that's actual engine noise. It's hard to tell. So since I'm stopped, I'm going to put it in manual just for fun. I guess we can actually go into sport. I don't think it's going to do much. So. Definitely sounds louder, doesn't it? Now the weird thing for me is in my Audi, when I shift, you push the stick forward to upshift. This is you pulling it back. So you gotta kind of get used to that. It's just a little bit different. I just want to get out on the highway a little bit, open it up, see what it feels like to just flat out accelerate. I haven't really had much time to do that. My foot's to the floor. It doesn't even look like it wants to wake up. Yeah, it's mashed to the floor, and it's not really, I mean, it got up to speed, but it's not really an exciting acceleration. It sounds better than it actually feels. I don't really know how to describe it, but I mean, it is a nearly 5,000-pound SUV with a V6, so I guess I'm probably expecting a little too much to think it's going to accelerate like a sports car, even in sport mode. I'm watching my fuel economy go down, but that's to be expected. Maybe I should turn that off when I'm in sport mode. Now, red line in this is about 6,500 RPMs. I think I shifted there at about 6,000. From first to second, and it sounds good. Like I said, I don't know, you know, I don't really know if it's doing much for the acceleration of this vehicle. This is probably one of those ones where if you just put it in sport mode and just floored it in automatic, you'd probably be just as good, if not better. So I'm going to hop off, spin around, and do that again. So now we're on the highway. We're doing 68 miles an hour. I feel a little noise, but it's not bad. It's not overwhelming. I don't know how good the audio is coming through. That'll be the true test of how noisy it is. I can deal with this noise. This is not bad at all. It's not going to bother me. And this isn't a smooth as glass kind of a road. It's a lot of bumps. It's still rough. seems fine. So I'm going to say that road noise is not bad. Maybe one day when we hit the big time, we'll have that little decibel meter to actually tell you what it does, but right now, no. Downshifts don't really seem to do much. There, that one sounded good. Yeah, if you want any any engine noise, you got to be up around 4,000 RPMs in this thing, from what I'm seeing. But just driving it normally, I don't think this rarely reaches that in automatic mode. So we'll try it one more time when we get out onto the highway and see what she'll do. I think it might be better to take it out of manual, but just leave it in sport and see what we got. So that's where we are right now. And there actually is a traction control off button, which sounds bizarre in an SUV. Well, that sounds good. In sport mode, it definitely sounds good. It sounds real good. I don't know that it's accelerating any better. This is not a spot where I can just do a dead stop acceleration. So my assessment is that yeah, it's just not, it's not that car for, it's not going to be a sporty ride. It's just not going to do that. But if you have to accelerate, get out of your own way, this is doing it. It is getting up. It got up to speed. It feels comfortable at speed. It really does. 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. Yeah, it felt good. I don't know that I've actually gotten it higher than that. I'd have to really think about it and probably not admit it on camera. But no, you know, the speed limit in this state is 70 on certain roads. That's about as high as I've gotten it. But it's comfortable. It's stable. I guess that's the right word for an SUV. It's a stable vehicle, even with bumps and all that, like we just went over, even on curves. It doesn't feel like you're stressing it. You know, it seems like it can handle all of those things. I would think, you know, this is probably a pretty safe vehicle. It's probably a really good family vehicle. Now, we went out to dinner Saturday night. This is a Monday now. Saturday night it was pouring rain. I mean, really bad, to where you could barely see. And I had the whole family, which includes me and my wife, my oldest daughter, my son-in-law, and my youngest daughter, who's still an adult. So 5 adults, plenty of space. Nobody was uncomfortable. If we had gone shopping, we got room for that. I'm glad we didn't go shopping. And it was a nice, it felt safe. You know, at no point did I feel like I was in dangerous conditions. Some of the roads were kind of ponding a little bit, but you're up higher. It felt good. I felt very safe in this vehicle. I'd love to drive in the snow, just to see what it would be like. I would imagine I would feel much the same way. It just seems like that kind of vehicle. Now right here, this curve is posted 20. We're doing 45 going into it. 40, yeah, 40 miles an hour, no tire squeal. It feels like a little bit of body lean, but it's not bad. And yeah, that was nice. For a vehicle this tall, that absolutely felt really good. I don't always like to take my Audi on that curve at that speed, and that's much lower to the ground. So yeah, this handles really well. For not a sports car, absolutely, this does what you need it to do really well. I've been impressed. I've been impressed all week with this car. If it got a lot better fuel economy, I'd say, you know what, I got to get one. And that would be the drawback for me. But if that's not as important, or if that's not on the top of your list, you know, I think this is good. And again, this is a V6. So this is a 3.6 liter, and it's what, 293 horsepower. You could go to the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk and get that Hellcat engine with 707 horsepower, I'm sure you're not going to get much fuel economy, but that's not really the point. And then we're talking about fun. If somebody out there has one of them and would like to give us a go in it, we'd love to check that out. I think that's really about it. I'm back on the highway again. Again, there's no road noise, 65 miles an hour, it's quiet. Yeah, I just think this vehicle does everything well. I'm happy with it. If this was my daily driver, if tomorrow I was told, hey, you know what, you're not going to get your Audi back, you got to keep this, I'm okay with that. You know, I'd miss the Audi at times, but I like this. I do. I'm not going to lie. My impressions at the price point that this was listed at, which, like I said, I saw $41,000. I don't know how optioned out this is, but it does have the little motor, so I can't imagine that it would be much more with this. When I checked all of the safety features, everything I was seeing was standard down the whole list. So I don't think this is really optioned. And plus it's a rental car, so I doubt if it's optioned. $41,000 for this? I could do that, yeah. I could see it. I think it's worth it. So if you're in the market for what I would consider a family size or full size SUV, Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, it's good. I like it. So that's about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, at TuneSpec, every drive is a journey. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we have a lot more content coming your way. Catch you guys on the next one. Trying to do an intro, start 57. I don't know, I lost count. Nothing against this, because do not enter. I hope you've enjoyed this. Oh gosh. This is the conclusion. I'm trying. Remember here at... Let's try it again. Thank you so much. I'm thirsty, Bell, because we have a lot more contact coming your way. Contact? We have a lot more... We're going to hit you. We have a lot more contact coming your way. Let's try it again. I have to delete a lot of videos, I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that. Gosh, I can't speak today. This is me not drinking. Oh my goodness. All right, let's try it again. Mike, I need you here. I can't do this without you. Hallo, wir kommen ze TuneSpec. Ich bin Frank. Okay, I'm sorry if you speak German. I'm sure I screwed that up somehow, but I'm trying. Hallo, wir kommen ze TuneSpec. Ich bin Frank. Yeah, that was good.